Go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Edie Davis, Jim Dodger, Brian Ellis,
Here.
Tim Eagle,
Here.
Dave Hoppa,
Here.
Brian Holman, Vic Mays,
Here.
David Mills,
Here.
Jacob Pack, Don Pauly,
Here.
Steve Perry,
Here.
Adam Sigmund,
Here.
Sarah Stewart, Travis Willard, Lynn Yeager.
And just note, Jacob is on his way. I just spoke to him, so
Okay.
we'll check him in if he's able to make it. Next item on the agenda is action on the September 26th meeting minutes. Are there any comments or questions on the minutes? Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion to accept.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is citizens' concerns. There are no citizens in attendance tonight, so we'll go ahead and move into the items on the agenda. And we'll mix the agenda up just a little bit. So the third item on the agenda, the subdivision variance request. And David, correct me if I get any of this wrong, but the DOH rejected the engineering survey for the entrance that was proposed. And what that requires is a new engineering survey to be completed, for that entrance to be modified or moved to another portion of the property. And due to that survey being obviously incorrect, I'm going to make a motion to table this variance request and then ask the group if we would be able, or if you have the ability to call a special meeting for December, so we can bring this back to the commission December 18th. So my question for this group would be, well, actually, number one, I'm making a recommendation to table this item due to those facts. David, did I get any of those facts incorrect?
No, just like you said, the DOH declined the entry onto the development on the east side of the property, flipping it to the west, which, as you said, rendered the plat that was advertised null and void. So, if we can get that December 18th special meeting, that should work out great.
Okay, so that is, I will put that in a motion to go ahead and table this variance request. Is there a second? Or are there any questions? Is there, there's a second. Those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next piece would be the call for a special meeting. I know you guys may or may not have your planners in front of you, so I'm going to recommend December the 18th. So Denise, if we can, because there's other members who are not in attendance today, for that special meeting to be December the 18th. That is a Wednesday. That is not a firm date yet. Obviously, we have individuals here. We'll coordinate an email tomorrow so everyone can check their calendar. And if you can respond to Denise, if you're able to make that date work, that would be great.
Yeah, tomorrow's our deadline to receive the plat and get the ad into the paper in time for December 18th. So if everybody does what they say they're going to, we get it tomorrow, and we can get a quorum on the 18th, we can hear it.
Great. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so there are two other items on the agenda. There's proposed text amendment 2024-07 and proposed text amendment 2024-08. I'm going to make a recommendation that both of these be presented at the same time, and we work through the worksheets on these at the same time, as they are both tied together from a requesting point, so that'll help expedite the discussion. I do not believe there are any disclosures of conflict on this, so I'll go ahead that the staff presents.
All righty. First item, proposed text amendment 2024-07. Mr. Mills, President of our Planning Commission, applied for a text amendment to modify Article 150.02, definition of terms of the zoning ordinance for the zoned and incorporated areas of Putnam County, West Virginia, to add a definition for sign billboard, which reads as such. Sign billboard, a freestanding sign advertising a business, commodity, service, activity, or entertainment not taking place on the premises upon which the billboard is located. So that's the first amendment, is to add that definition to the zoning ordinance. And since we're hearing both of these as once, we'll go ahead and move on and discuss 08, which is an expansion on the same topic. Mr. Mills asked for a text amendment to modify Article 1400.05K, prohibited signs, and Article 1400.11, non-conforming signs, off-premises billboards of the zoning ordinance for the zoned and incorporated areas of Putnam County, West Virginia, to address the off-premise billboards issue. Proposed text amendment, if you'll see in your packet, oh, by the way, on your iPads, it is file number 4, and we're talking about now, under prohibited signs, 1400.05 prohibited signs, letter K, all off-premises signs, except as permitted in section 1400.10, off-premises signs, and 1400.11, non-conforming signs, F, off-premise billboards. 1400.11, non-conforming signs, so if you go down to F, this is the language that is proposed to be added. An existing billboard on the effective date of the zoning ordinance is classified as a non-conforming sign. As a non-conforming billboard sign, the following shall apply. Number 1, structural alteration of an existing billboard is allowed as long as it results in a decrease in the nonconformity of the following. A decrease in the total sign area or any dimensions of the billboard. B, a decrease in the height of the billboard, which height shall not exceed the maximum height allowance of a sign in that zoning district. C, due to the decrease in nonconformity, replacement of static signage with 100% electronic variable messaging, or EVMS, shall be permitted. Number 2, an existing billboard may be demolished and reconstructed in its current location or within 250 linear feet of its current location, as long as the billboard's nonconformity is decreased. A billboard sign shall not be calculated in the freestanding signage allowance per parcel or development. Number 4, a billboard sign shall meet all applicable regulations as outlined in Article 1400.06, General Sign Regulations. Number 5, prior to structural alteration, demolition, or reconstruction of a billboard, a sign application, sign plan, and fee shall be submitted to and approved by the planning officer to ensure compliance with the decrease in nonconformity requirement. And number 6, newly constructed billboard signs are prohibited in all zoning districts. So based upon these two proposed amendments, we've just discussed the facts that we need to determine that the proposed amendments will protect and promote public health, safety, convenience, moral, and general welfare. The Planning Commission must find that the amendments are consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan and ordinances. If the amendments are not consistent, the Planning Commission must find that there have been major changes in an economic, physical, or social nature within the area involved, which were not anticipated when the comprehensive plan was adopted, and those changes have substantially altered the basic characteristics of the area. On October 8th, these facts were relative to both amendments. On October 8th, Mr. Mills, President of the Putnam County Planning Commission, applied for text amendments 2024-07 and 2024-08. Let's see, legal advertisement describing the proposed text amendments was published in the Hurricane Breeze on Thursday, October 17th, advising the public of tonight's hearing. And as usual, there is a worksheet at the back of 2024-08, which with criteria for you all to discuss relative to the relevant facts and to help you make your decision.
Thank you, Dave. So we will open up for public comment. There is no one in attendance from the public, so I will go ahead and close the public portion of this hearing and then move into the deliberation and voting process. Dave read the facts related to these two text amendments. I was the one who made the application for these. We had an individual who was looking to improve some signage here in the valley, and found out that if they were to improve the signage, that they wouldn't be able to rebuild the signage based upon how our ordinances read today. So the proposed text amendments would allow not only this individual to put electronic signage up, but also it would be an improvement in terms of size, the height, and then also allowing that digital signage to go in place. So it's of my opinion that these text amendments are prudent to add to our ordinances. And I would ask if anyone else has an opinion or any comments related to these two text amendments.
One question, Mr. President, about the number 6, the newly constructed signs are prohibited, so there's not going to be allowing any billboards to be put up
That is correct.
anywhere in the county.
Yes.
That makes no sense. So how are you going to say newly constructed billboard signs are prohibited in all zone areas? That would lose 35 easy up and down there. I'm not going to allow people to sell billboards down through. I think part of what you all are trying to do is good.
Mhm.
You know, the fact that, because I'm sitting on the sign, I don't know, it's $25,000 to make it LED. It's actually cheaper when you take it down and erect somewhat smaller, which would meet this ordinance, right? So, from what I read there, you're saying if it's smaller in some way that it can, and that's good. I'm not, I don't really wish, I mean, I'm not going to put a sign anywhere, but this is pretty restrictive. And then we have a completely, corridor we're trying to grow. Does that make sense?
To Glenn's question, the newly constructed billboards being prohibited, that is currently how the ordinances read today, correct?
Yes, yeah, that they are, billboards are considered non-conforming signs. So therefore, this language is stating that an existing billboard can be modified as long as the non-conformity is decreased, but you can't build a new one from scratch.
Also address the issue. And the issue is, how can we not have the ability to put up a sign out in 35? I'm not saying everybody will do it or want to, but I think it's pretty restricted.
So my question for that, if someone would want to put a sign up, what would be the process of them, a new sign, not replacing an old sign? Would they have
A
the
billboard,
ability?
a billboard sign? A new billboard sign under this language is not permitted. Now, if you have an existing billboard sign that is being altered to decrease the nonconformity, then that's allowed.
And I don't necessarily disagree with you. I guess my question, so today, new billboards are considered non-conforming. So
Yeah.
to Glenn, this item is not even on the agenda today. It exists today, right? So if someone would come and want to put a new billboard in, would they have any ability to make an application via a,
No, that is a prohibited
so they would have
sign.
no avenue
Yeah.
to do so?
Yeah, billboards
correct?
prior to the zoning ordinance, they are what they are. And the nonconformity can be decreased, but a new billboard is currently in this language is prohibited.
This language, but also existing language, new billboards are prohibited, correct?
And no new billboards. Like
Yes.
if you're wanting to, well, in this situation, like down there at the intersection of 34 and 817, they were wanting to take that one down and put up a smaller, less non-conforming billboard, and the BZA had to decline it because the language to the letter of the law said, no new billboards. So this language is, as I understand it, is intended to alleviate that situation so somebody could take an existing billboard,
And improve it.
make it less non-conforming, and not be prohibited to have the billboard on their property and, as an income source. But as far as,
Is there a way that we can, revamp our group, but to say, it can't be everybody, I get it. You either do exit or let's look over other counties. You got to put it up. There's got to be some way that we can compromise in those situations. Now, just clearly see this, just, if we have some growth in our county, let's push it. Let's name it.
Can I make a statement? I was told, I'm under the influence that years ago, a group went out and petitioned that there could be no more billboards, no new billboards in Putnam County, a long time ago. And my understanding is what you're asking to do is to allow the people with billboards now, non-conforming signs, to move when necessary, to make adjustments when necessary, to improve with to make it nicer. However, to be able to do that, it's just got to be a little bit smaller each time. That way, it's not as noticeable.
decrease the nonconformity.
So
Yeah.
I understand the concept there, and I understand that the billboards were discontinued years ago. However, Glenn does make a good point. A lot of people may say there may not need any more billboards in Tays Valley, but in most cases, on interstates, there are uses for billboards. So on a separate note, I would respectfully suggest that maybe that billboard along 64 or 35, and I have no property that I would anticipate ever putting a billboard on, but I do see the need for directional traffic once, for restaurants and motels and things, as 35 or 64 develops on that new exit that you spoke on, it could be a need for that to be readdressed for new billboards.
And also, keep in mind, this is in the zoning ordinance, relative to zoned portions of the county is what we're talking about. I'm sorry.
I have a question about language. When we talk about billboard sign, are we talking just billboards, or are we talking signs and billboards?
Just a billboard.
Just a billboard?
Yeah, billboard signs.
Anything? Okay.
So
I'm just getting it clear in my head. I mean, a housing development sign out front. Is that considered billboard signage or just a sign? Well, housing development. No, I mean, I'm just wondering, anywhere.
My understanding is if the sign is on the premises.
Yeah, I'll read the
different
proposed
than if it's
definition again.
Down the road from the premises.
Okay, well, I just want to clear that up. I'm picturing in my head all these housing developments going up, they all put a nice sign up from brick and stuff. Okay, so this is mostly directed toward billboards,
Yes.
which you can get a definition of.
Yeah, a freestanding sign advertising a business, commodity, service, activity, or entertainment not taking place on the premises upon which the billboard is located.
Advertising.
Yep.
Thank you.
Some of
The interstates, I guess quarters, they have, at the exits, they have signs noting what restaurants, and motels, and things like that, right?
they do, yes.
So why would we need billboards?
I think you can argue this a bunch of different ways or, discuss it a bunch of different ways. So my question related to what Glenn brought up with item number 6 on 2024-08F the newly constructed billboard signs are prohibited in all zoning districts. If they are currently prohibited, and we've defined redoing an existing billboard, can we strike number 6 from this section because it's repetitive? Or would it be repetitive?
Well,
Yes.
this does, again, agree or disagree with the language. This clarifies, that makes the statement that you can modify that non-conforming existing billboard, make it less non-conforming, and it's okay. But if you want to go out here and build you own a parcel along the road, and you want to, it's your home, your business, whatever, you want to put a new billboard up there, that's prohibited.
Okay.
Now, I mean, you guys can make any recommendation you like, it will go to the county, whatever your recommendation is, will will go to the county commission, and they'll make their decision. But, this is, topic for discussion for you guys to craft this language as you see fit.
So right now, number 6, the only thing number 6 is doing is supporting what's already in the ordinance.
Exactly. Yeah, it's already in.
That's
Yeah,
not
all
what
of
it is.
this F 1 through 5, I mean, you could take 1 through 5 out, and it already says billboards are not allowed. This 1 through 5 is saying, okay, new billboards aren't allowed, but we can modify these existing ones and make them, and lessen the status of nonconformity, and they're okay. Now, prior, when we had this issue before the BZA last month, I guess, these folks had these existing billboards, which they wanted to lessen the nonconformity, but the language was very strict, so therefore the BZA couldn't allow them to do it because it was cut and dry, absolutely not. So this is an attempt to lessen the, lighten up the reins and,
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you on that. I don't know if the other part can be fixed in this setting, right? That would be something that would need to come through the ordinance subcommittee.
I agree. I don't think we can try to attempt to address what's already in place for new billboards. But it could be something that someone should run a flagpole to see if that should be a discussion for certain areas, under certain situations. Or maybe that there is a BZA opportunity for somebody to ask for something, an exception, because there could be a need for billboards along interstates to identify where restaurants, hotels, and businesses are.
yeah, well, this isn't, talking about things along the the directional, hotels, food, gas, things like that. These are these type of boards sitting on, people's private, property, much like, out here, just like the ones on 817 that we're talking about at the intersection. Those are the ones that started this whole discussion, because they wanted to, where the Taco Bell's going in, they wanted to move those existing billboards, make them, lessen the non-conforming status, but, the language wouldn't allow it. So this is an attempt to, somebody who's wanting to do that, they have an avenue.
As far as I'm concerned, I support, I think the wording, I think the need is there, but only because what Glenn brought up made me realize that maybe there are areas that billboards would be needed.
Sure.
New billboards would be needed. I'm certainly in support.
And I'm a proponent for whenever we have an opportunity to improve our ordinances, I do believe we should consider it and have discussions about it. The item that Glenn brought up, as I mentioned earlier, I don't believe it can be vetted in this setting. So I would recommend that be brought to the ordinance subcommittee with the help of the planning department to determine if that would be something that we could recommend to this commission. Are there any other questions or comments related to the two proposed text amendments? Okay, so we will then move over to the worksheet. And again, we're going to be working this worksheet for both text amendments. The first Criteria that needs to be addressed is, will the proposed amendment protect and promote public health, safety, convenience, morals, and general welfare? Does anyone have an opinion?
Yes. I mean, they're improving the sign, but by forming and smaller, you know. Yes, it is, especially if it's on a road or an intersection.
Anyone else have any other opinions or varying opinions?
Makes it easier to, business.
Any other comments?
At least it allows the billboard to remain, become less intrusive.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All those that believe criteria number 1 is yes, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by no? Okay, that criteria 1 carries. Criteria number 2 is the amendment consistent in achieving the objectives of the adopted comprehensive plan, US 35 corridor management plan, and the Tays Valley land use plan. Any comments or opinions on number 2?
I would say yes, because at this point, we're not adding anything new. We're just creating more. It's already existing.
I agree. Any other comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. All those who believe number 2 is a yes, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, number 2 carries. So we do not need to do number 3. Okay, continuing on, next item is the staff report.
All right, the document we're going to look at here is file number, file number 5 on your iPads. This is for what we've done through October. See, in October, we had 19 development permits issued, and 9 zoning permits, for a total of 28 permits issued in October. You can see how October compares to the previous months. We had a really busy month. As well as on the next slide, the development plat approvals in October. That's been our, we did more plats in October than we have any other month the rest of the year. You see we had 14 plat approvals in October. And you see the color coding is relative to the different types of plat. The next sheet is money. Through the first 4 months of the 24-25 fiscal year, so far, we're looking at 13% below budget. As far as 24-25 fiscal year revenues are concerned, we're currently a little behind where we were at this same time in the 23-24 fiscal year as far as revenue intake, but we certainly have plenty of time to catch up. We're about 5% behind where we were last year. Calendar year revenue, though, we're looking good. We're currently 6% ahead of where we were at this time last year through 10 months of the year. So we're looking to, if everything holds up, which I believe it will, hopefully we'll bring in more than we did in 2023. And the next slide in this report is the permit status report. You see we've got issued a lot of permits, and those that are still pending, we're on top of. Be glad to answer any questions anybody has about any of this.
Are there any questions for staff? Okay, Dave, we can move on to the unfinished business item. Is there any unfinished business to report?
I don't have any. Just looking forward to, hopefully we can get this special meeting off in December, which we talked about. And we'll know more about that tomorrow if we get everything on time, as we've informed all the stakeholders who were involved in the project. And if they get it to us in time tomorrow, we can get a quorum on the 18th, and we can take care of that variance request.
Okay, thank you. And obviously, that moves to the new business. So this new business line item could change for our next meeting to be Wednesday, December 18th, if we're able to get a quorum for that special meeting. Otherwise, the next scheduled meeting is January 23rd. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you, guys. Thanks, staff.